So you hail from Ohio, the Buckeye State. So, and you mentioned on your website, you're talking about how the Midwest is a big influence on your design and on your illustration. Explain that. What's kind of the thing there?
Midwesterny design, I guess, aesthetic is like what it says on my website or something like that. Yeah, I'm from Ohio, and I always say like Ohio is like a great place to find old stuff. Right. There's lots of thrift stores and like old yard sales, estate sales, like all these kind of great things where you can find like old textbooks, old arcane like equipment manuals, even like old type specimen sheets. So all these things that are kind of like, I'd always go to like thrift stores with my sister and like she would shop for clothes and I'd like look through the old LPs and like kind of gather inspiration with that kind of stuff. Not even like thinking about that when I was younger, but like later on I realized like, oh, that's like a big part of my design is just like kind of like this like vernacular design from like the mid-century kind of stuff.
So you went to Kent State for school. So when you were in school, were you kind of in some ways looking back at some of those things you collected a little bit when you were a little bit younger, or like that kind of ultimately came into what looks like your style?
Yeah.
But was it a sort of a conscious thing at that point?
I think when I was in school, I was like, I got my master's and my bachelor's all at once, so I was there for like a really long time. Like
one shot.
Yeah, one shot, one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And I was there for like 6 years, which is a really long time.
Yeah. And
at some point you get kind of like, you have the same professors over and over again, and it's like, how much can you really learn from these people? Like, I mean, they're great, but like, you've had them for like, I don't know how many, 4 or 5 classes. So at some point, me and a couple of my friends decided we were going to like teach ourselves how to screen print, and start like a little, I guess, design collective. We didn't even think of it as a business, like to just do like concert poster art with like through screen printing. So that's like between that and like Kent State has a really nice letterpress facility there too. Between those two things, like the process of like designing for really simple, like whether it be like 2-color screen printing or 2-color or how letterpress, just like moving things around on a type bed. Those things just really influenced how I look at design, and how like even now like things I design are like very simple and usually can be like screen printed if they needed to be. Right. Just that aesthetic kind of like guided me from like just doing like more handmade stuff.
I gotcha. So you were talking about how you're in Ohio, you're in Kent State, you had the same professors. Is that ultimately what kind of made you move east? Like what was it that brought you to Philadelphia?
The company we had, Little Jacket, in like 2008, I mean, we were just like a 3-guy shop. So in 2008, we got, like the economy kind of took a turn and we were just kind of struggling a little bit. Yeah. And I was kind of like wondering, oh, what's it all for? And like...
You weren't near a bridge or anything?
No, it's just like, what am I doing? Because I, first of all, didn't, the company was going bad. I actually moved back in with my parents. And then I hadn't finished my degree yet because the degree kind of ends with a big like thesis, not paper but project. And they just kind of let you finish it on your own time. Like a couple of my friends still haven't finished theirs. Wow. It's just like this thing that, I mean, you don't need a piece of paper to be a designer usually, but so I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta kind of take care of this and get it done. Yeah. So I did that. I did my thesis project, and then I did a little bit of freelancing for Cleveland for a while, but I really wanted that experience of, working in a company that had, bigger clients, more established way of like approaching work, a better process. And I just wanted a job that had health benefits too,
right, yeah.
Which is helpful. So like during that time, like 160 overnight, I feel it was like 160 overnight, it was like one of the only people like hiring. Right. And it seemed like a good fit. From a standpoint of they have a really good process, and the standpoint that I needed a job.
Yeah. They've got it all.
Yeah, they got it all. So yeah, that's kind of why I moved to Philly, was for the job.
So you've done this pretty broad range of work from editorial type of illustration to some of the design, pure design kind of work. Done work for all kinds of big name clients. It seems like you've kind of accomplished quite a bit. What's kind of the future? Like, what do you envision for yourself as kind of like another mountain to climb, that type of thing?
I don't know. I think that's like, what are like the dream kind of clients to get? Like I never thought, like when I graduated school, I thought, oh, I'm going to be like a graphic designer. That's what I wanted to do. I wasn't like, I never had like intention of being like an illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something I do now, which is cool, which I love. Like I feel like really excited to wake up every day and do what I do because I really like it. But like, you know, I worry about like being an illustrator and how long like your style like goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Like when does that stop and you have to do something else? So that's like a concern. But like from the standpoint of like dream jobs as like an illustrator, like I feel like there's a certain amount of clients you get and you do work for. It's like an Illustrator bingo card, and you have like you're trying to like get as like all these different ones that you're like, oh, I did work for them and them. So it's just kind of like fun. It's like when somebody new calls, like you're like, oh yeah, like I did a piece for like the Washington Post this week. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So it's just like I just get really excited. It's not even like you know, I've accomplished this. It's just like, oh man, I get to do this for them. They're like what I'd make, and I don't know, it's fun. But like dream clients, like I don't know. It's like, what do you do? I think I've always liked letterpress. I have my own letterpress in Ohio still in storage. I guess one of my goals is to get it up in like some kind of form as like I could use it to print things or use it even in an editorial sense to design and illustrate too. That's one of the bigger goals. And it's just like, it's kind of it's like a surprise. Like I'm just happy like doing new work for new people all the time.